They were witnessing the Omni into therapist transformation arch. So it says people who only learn from reality may become hardened and miss out on creativity and emotional depth. Those who only learn from fiction may struggle with real life relationships and challenges because they expect reality to behave like a story. So it's interesting because you might not think that you have picked up on habits where you are looking at life based on what you read on fiction, because you just don't know it yet. It hasn't been proven. So a lot of the ideals that you might have picked up and carried on could just be based on a romanticized version of it. And you might be somebody like me who might be more figuratively thinking that doesn't really take things as like, no, this is actually literally how it works. Pretty crazy. I grew up looking at old-fashioned style of relationships. I feel like my only life just started in 2022. A lot of people had a lot of time. It's self-reflection. If you have time to self-reflect, it's really crucial and key. I highly recommend self-reflection. I know it sounds like when people say self-reflection, again, this is something that happened with me. When people say self-reflection is good or discovering yourself is good, right? It sounds like a cliche. To be honest, I dismiss almost everything as like a saying. Like if you think of all the classic sayings you ever hear, and you're just like, whatever, this is bullshit. Whatever, it's bullshit. It's whatever, it's bullshit. It's just the same. But it's you really should. So you really should. It's like you should really believe in yourself, or you should really like love yourself. Like those sayings are actually based on truth, and if you ignored it like me for a long time, it's like it's crucial. Self-reflection, but not inaction. This changed a lot. Yeah, but just kind of like looking at yourself in a different lens and actually learning yourself. Like, and I'm almost done reading this one. Like another thing is learning your attachment style. For those of you guys know, there's like 4 different attachment styles. How your relationships with people. You can be, I think, avoidant. You can be anxious. You can be disorganized, and you can be secured attached. And if you know your attachment style, then you can then go backwards and figure out why you picked up a certain attachment style, which usually leads to some type of unresolved trauma or some type of way that you lived as a child, which then became a defensive mechanism. And then that defensive mechanism became your autopilot. And then therefore you have now you've developed a style based on the interactions you had as a kid when you were younger, and you just don't know it. You don't know it. Or like maybe you was in a place where you were being mistreated nonstop. So let's say the average person, this is how you should be treated. Maybe you were in a place where you were treated like this nonstop, below, like very bad. You was treated poorly. So then when you grow up, you're attracted to people who treat you at this level down here, because this is your normal. This is your basis. This is what makes sense. Even though you don't like it, it still is your basis and it makes sense. And this is why a lot of people end up, dating people who are bad for them, because it's a familiarity. And that's what a lot of people who end up dating people who are like treat them well, it feels off. It feels weird. They're unresolved trauma. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like how it should be. Or they might get scared, or they might get anxious, and they go back to that comfort of the known, which is usually below. But people don't realize about themselves. Am I calling you out? I've been doing a lot of human behavioral reading and study. I've been so fascinated. Like I stopped reading for a really long time, and then I became inspired and fascinated about human behavior and psychology and self-reflection. This is a good subject. Thanks. Yeah, I've been obsessed with this stuff, yo. Didn't expect a Saturday morning therapy session. It's less therapy and more just the self-realization. I've always been the type of person that kind of likes to throw tidbits at you guys and like big bro you a little bit, because I wish there were things that people told me. Like I wish someone told me at 18 to start investing. Like I wish someone said, open up a Fidelity account and have $100 deposited into that account every month, just at a minimum. Just do it, set it up. I wish someone would have told me that a long time ago, because yeah. So things like that is what I end up telling people all the time. I regret thinking things like daily affirmations and positive self-talk were weird. Yeah, it is, because like some people think it's weird to actually be nice to yourself. Like some people feel like it's like, oh, I'm humble, I wouldn't really talk about myself in a positive light. That's weird, right? And other people are like me, I love talking positively about myself in my brain. Like I love gassing myself up. I love gassing my friends up, and I love gassing myself up as well. Like I love myself. Well, to an extent. There's some things I didn't love about myself, but I love myself for the most part. So I always would gas myself up in order for motivation and boost. And I realized there are some people who just don't. They just don't think they think it's a little weird to pat themselves on the back. So anyway, okay, sorry. We're rambling. A lot of people need a therapist or someone that will keep it real with them. Self-reflection is hard if you're guiding yourself incorrectly. Yes. So therapy is important, and also talking with people is important. So if you're like a shut-in like me, where you maybe keep a small circle of groups of friends, or you don't really experience people that much, maybe you're antisocial, or maybe you're participating in too much escapism, then it means that you don't get enough people to kind of give you feedback on yourself. You don't get confirmation. You only have like you become self-centered, and people might look at the word as self-centered as a bad thing, but it's not. Self-centered people are people who kind of look at life and lenses through just themselves as the main character, the center of everything, and then everyone's a spectrum of that center, that's how the universe works, but we're all scattered. So it's not quite that simple. So using yourself as the basis would be a false pretense. Like, oh, well, this person, I do this, so why doesn't this person do that? That's how self-centered people think, because you want to use yourself as the comparative basis, not recognizing that we're all different universes, different people with different brains, different chemicals, everything. So it's using yourself as the basis would be what sounds logical because we're human beings, but we're so drastically different that it will create some misconceptions if you think people are closer to you rather than further away. We're witnessing the Omni into therapist transformation arch. What am I saying right now? Does it sound like therapy, or I'm honestly just talking about self-awareness? I don't even feel like I'm giving you guys therapy. I feel like we're just talking about awareness, right? My brother and I would talk about breaking generational curses and a lot. And now that has sorry. My brother and I would talk about breaking generational curses a lot. And now that he has kids, we talk about the ones we broke and ones we haven't. Like, we broke the abusive parenting cycle. That's great. But other curses like poverty cycle have been more complicated to overcome. So poverty is actually, I don't know if poverty is a generational curse. It's more so like a class thing, like where rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. The way that the society is structured is to divide rich people with poor people on purpose. The poor people will have access to lower education and less opportunities, therefore they will stay poor. They will remain in a specific working class environment. Whereas to become rich, you might have to get access to better education, better schools, and if you don't have people to kind of guide you into how to navigate that, then you'll still be poor maybe. So it's a class issue. The thing that I would say is a generational curse is poverty mindset. So there are people who, like me, I'm doing way better than I was when I was broke, but I still have a poverty mindset. I feel like I have to be working and hustling and trying to get farther and farther away from being broke, right? I'm trying not to never ever go close to zero. Whereas rich people mindset are like, I wonder how much more money I can make. They're not thinking about whether they would get poor. They're not like, oh, I'm scared of being poor. They're just like, I wonder how many other ways I can keep capitalizing on people. That's how some people think, right? It's completely different. But if you understand that poverty mindset, that can become a generational curse. It can cause things where people spend money in a way that is a curse. So there's people who don't save. There's people who don't invest. There are people who live paycheck to paycheck. There are people who don't budget. That kind of relationship with money is a curse because we're not taught how to manage finances. It's all by design, but it's just kind of a result. So